Portfolio Builder members, welcome to our July 16th Tuesday Trade Alert Diamond Level membership. This is an exclusive trade only available to our upgraded members. We had a great profit. I'll just jump down to summarize the profit to start off, and then we'll go into today's Trade Alert. The summary here is that Apple traded from $200.14 to $205.24 when we entered and closed our Trade Alert. That's a $5.10 move to the positive side. Our short call long put, also known as a collar trade, was open for a credit of 45 cents but closed for a debit of $3.19. You add that all together, we made a profit of $2.36, and we did this with the bumpers. So you're bowling with the bumpers. You cannot mess up too bad. And this time we happened to hit a strike. We nailed it. This was about the biggest profit we could generate from this trade. The return on investment was 1.18%. Now, if we do this 52 weeks a year, which we may not, but if we did, that is an annualized return turning current principal from $20,000 into $36,808. Now, if you were to get that return consistently, that's an 84% return. Now, folks, we're not trying to do that in this program. We're really just going for around 2% total return per month. To do that, we have to take a little more risk than we're doing on our Monday, Wednesday, Friday Trade Alert by trading a single security. Now, this security is the number 2 position in the SPY ETF. It's Warren Buffett's biggest position, and most hedge funds have a huge position in Apple. So our return jumped from 14% last week to almost 15% in 1 week. So we're doing well to meet our target. Let's take a look at the current Trade Alert. The summary here is let's just go to the image so everybody can see that. So this first step is you have to have 100 shares of Apple. And in this account, we're doing 800 shares. So we need to close out last week's trade. You can see the debit is for $3.19. To do this, we buy to close the July 19, 2019 202.50 call, and we sell to close the July 19, 2019 197.50 put. Now, if you did not take last week's trade, you can skip this step. The next step is to sell to open the July 26, 2019 207.50 call for a credit of around $1.48, and then to buy to open the July 26, 2019 202.50 put for a debit of around $1.42. So you can see we're letting stock speculators who bet that Apple will go up every week finance our downside protection. So if the China trade war were to ramp up this week, and Apple were to fall $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, it wouldn't matter a bit to us because we have the right to sell our shares for $202.50 with our long put option. So I would argue it's a foolish game to sell put options, and it's a foolish game to buy call options in the long run. And so with this trade alert, we essentially rely on Apple to go up in order to generate the bulk of our profits. Now, if it goes down slightly, we're going to gain value in our short call and potentially gain value in our long put. So it's an interesting risk profile. Let's take a look at this. So you can see we hit our maximum loss once we reach 202.50, and we hit our maximum gain once we hit 207.50. And if you notice, the risk to reward ratio is almost 1-to-1. On the SPY, it's more close to 50 cents to the dollar. We're risking $1 to make 50 cents. And that's because the SPY is such a safe asset that's so diversified that it hardly goes down. That's why the risk profile is not as good as it is on Apple. Apple has inherently much more volatility and therefore demands higher prices for the options market. And so this is great for our strategy. We're making a maximum risk per share or per contract, so per 100 shares of $262 with a maximum profit of $237.60. And if the stock just trades right back to 205, we'll end up right around break even. So you can see as we get to 207.50, our profits gradually rise and then get cut off. So that's the goal of this trade alert. And it again is an atomic bomb-proof trade. There's no risk of waking up one day with a big loss. We have it capped off. Now, why do we like Apple? Well, first of all, it's probably one of the few companies that are tech giants that are supported by the current administration. In fact, they appear to be best buddies, and we've even gone to the extent of knifing in the back one of the only competitors to Apple, Huawei. So they've really crippled one of the largest competitors to Apple in the latest sanctions against China. So that's number one. Number two, Apple's trading at a great discount compared to its recent high relative to all other peers. You go look at Amazon, Microsoft, they're doing killer, and they're already near the high. So the potential for a nice long-term up move is a little bit better in Apple right now than it is in some of its peers. And then furthermore, because of the huge volatility it's had relative to the China trade war, the option pricing is at a premium. So that's great for our strategy. Now, if we look at the option data, not a whole lot, pretty well balanced, maybe a little more on the put side than the call side, but just not a whole lot going on in the options market in this screenshot. And so that's really all we have for today's trade alert. Nice and simple. And we'll continue to play this for quite some time. Now, once Apple hits all-time highs, we'll look at our portfolio of 8 stocks we like and see if there's a better stock to be playing. So currently, Google's under a lot of attention and heat for being pro-China, anti-American, and being heavily censorship against conservatives. So I think there could be a lot of downward pressure on Google and potentially the opportunity to play that in our Thursday play. Now, we do save Google and Amazon for Thursday because it requires a lot more capital to get 100 shares. But then we have all the semiconductor and processing chip companies like Intel, Cisco in the works for the Tuesday trade, maybe Facebook, and maybe even Microsoft if we were to get a big sell-off. The problem with Microsoft is it's less volatile than the SPY, so it actually has the worst covered call income. But that's okay if it keeps screaming higher and higher with very little drawdown. So a reminder, we do have a live Q&A webinar Wednesday at 1 p.m. for our paid membership. If you're on a free trial and happen to see this content, it will be delayed after the markets close, so do consider upgrading. But your webinar is every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. The trade schedule is our SPY trade is at noon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. Currently, we're trading the Apple covered call play on Tuesday. We do have a few long gold positions on that. That's still a hold. I've moved that trade over to the Thursday play. It really pairs better with the TLT. With Apple, I'd rather pair it with a short position on FXI because they're so tied to this China trade war, and FXI is the large cap Chinese companies. So right now, I'm really carefully watching to see if we're really going to release sanctions on Huawei and if the Chinese are going to buy agricultural products. If that starts to break down or doesn't make progress, we'll start adding a position into these trades that's short FXI. Now, I have made a decision to make all trade alerts self-destruct. That means every single Tuesday, we're going to completely close out the last trade and open a new trade. We're not going to build up a position over time. That's too hard for new people coming in to follow. It makes our product a lot harder to manage. So you can see current trade alerts are super simple. You're in and out in a few minutes, and then you're done for the week. Thursday, we're currently doing the TLT GLD play. And if and when we see the trade war begin to escalate, I might switch out GLD with GDX. So we'll go from spot gold to gold miners. We need a long-term demand in gold to play GDX, but GDX could triple in price to get back to highs, whereas GLD has much less room to get back to all-time highs. So that's our summary. Tomorrow, again, is the SPY trade. And if you're ready to upgrade, we did raise our prices significantly. If you want to save, we can get you a lifetime deal, and you can do that by calling Dean or Chris at the two numbers. Dean at 505-322-7515. Chris at 760-803-5335. We did raise our price to $5,000 a year, But we have an offer on the table to get a lifetime deal for a total spend of $5K for all our old members. So if you're seeing this, you don't want to make more annual payments, you want to get all of our trade alerts Monday through Friday, then just call Dean or Chris right now. Whatever you've paid will be credited towards the total price tag, and then you'll be set for life. And again, it's very important that you guys are putting a big allocation into that Thursday play. I know trading the bond market's boring, but I got to tell you, when there's $13 trillion of negative debt out there and China's growth is cratering, there's problems in the works. And so we got to be positioned to get another rush to the biggest safe haven in the world, and that's the U.S. Treasury market. So by having at least 25%, but more likely 50% of your portfolio following the Thursday trade, it's going to really help balance out the results of what you're putting into our stock trades. So if you only want to trade once a week on the stocks, do the Tuesday play on Apple. If you don't mind trading our trades 5 days a week, you might consider doing 25% in the SPY, 25% in the Apple play, and then 50% in the Thursday play. So thanks again for your time. Looking for everybody to join us Wednesday for our paid membership webinar and a new SPY trade tomorrow.